You're listening to SoFloRadio.com. ZNation. ZNation. Where consciousness is queen, love really is the answer. And making a difference is on the menu. ZNation. Organic beats and inspiring treats. Get your weekly dose of vitamin Z now. This is ZNation on SoFloRadio.com.
Happy day, everyone. Welcome. This is Zayna De Gaia on ZNation on SoFloRadio.com. We are recording live from Hollywood, Florida. We got a full studio today. That's what's up. Wow, we have Catherine B, special guest. Harold Henao, special guest. I have my new producer in training, Sunset. Yeah. And my producer training, my producer in
your
training.
Old producer, the old guy.
George. So, wow, welcome everybody. It's a little bit of feedback.
You might be too loud here.
Oh, over here.
Because trust me, you sound great.
Good. That's important. Well, yeah, so welcome. So this weekend, I just came back yesterday from a trip to Orlando. Orlando's about 3 hours from Hollywood, Florida, those of you who are not from here. And so I was assisting in a course called the Landmark Forum. It's put on here in Florida in 3 different locations, and it's a course that's given everywhere in the world. And man, I just had an extraordinary weekend. The Landmark Forum, for those of you who don't know, is put on by a company called Landmark Worldwide. And it's a course that, in how I perceive it, is a course that allows people to awaken to their true selves and to discover how the past influences us, and to let the past be in the past so we can be free to be who we are right now in the moment, which is a world of possibility, right? We are human beings with full potential, and we have the illusion that we're limited by what our past says we are, but we're not. So it was incredible. There was about 130 people in a room that walked in on Friday as like cynical, resigned human beings, which is the default for human beings, you know, and they walked out on Sunday night like, unrecognizable, brand new human beings, free to be. And that's what we all deserve. You know, people will tell me, well, do you think I need to do the Landmark Forum? I don't think anybody needs to do the Landmark Forum. I think everybody deserves to put themselves through something that will awaken that part of us so we can have freedom, so we can not only have freedom, but have that fulfillment in life. And that's what it's given me. I've been doing this kind of work for over 10 years now. And what it's given me is, it's gotten me out of the way. It's giving me the ability to live my purpose, to live a life that I love, and to share my gifts with the world. And it was an interesting thing that happened this weekend, right? I did the Landmark Forum for the first time 8 years ago. And I had a big breakthrough with my father, right? That was the big breakthrough for me. I forgave my dad, and I really got like he's a human being, and I can have a lot of compassion for him. And I don't have to judge him and make him wrong. You know, I can just love him because he did the best he could do. Now, after I did the Landmark Forum the first time and I had that breakthrough with my dad, I had a huge breakthrough in the world of relationships with men. You know, I went from not being able to be in a relationship to being in a long-term relationship. I just came out of 9 years of being with someone. And that came from doing the Landmark Forum. So what was really interesting this weekend is... So I've been doing this work for a while. I've had this big breakthrough with my dad, big breakthrough in relationships. And this weekend I called my dad to share something with him that I was getting from the course. And instead of the call going the way I wanted to, which is, you know, that we love each other and everything's great, it went an opposite direction. And he ended up getting angry with me, and he hung up on me. And you know, I saw something 8 years ago that would have happened. I would have I would have been upset. I would have been crying. I would have been hating on him. And this time I really got to just have room for whatever it is that comes up for him or whatever it is that comes up for me. We're still human. And I also saw how it's so important to keep bringing completion to our relationships and not letting things like just letting things hang or letting things fester, especially with the ones close to us. Because the moment we do that, the moment I allow that tension or that anger to be there, love is gone. They can't coexist. And I'm committed to being in a space of love in my life. And man, that's, those people that will bring that up for us, that trigger us, that annoy us. Those are the teachers. I love my father so much. I love him. I love him because he's my father, and I love him as a human being. And I'm also thankful for what I get to learn from him, even though it's frustrating at times. And I get discouraged. I'm like, man, if I can't find this, deep love for someone who brought me onto the planet, what else is there? So my commitment is to keep loving him and to keep accepting him as he is. And I think that's the trap we fall into, because I want him to accept me as I am, and then I don't do the same for him. So we've got to bring it first. We've got to be the change we want to see in the world. Regardless if it's showing up in the world, I'm going to accept you how you are. Even if you don't accept me as I am, I'm going to love you. And that's the work. So coming out of that was amazing. I highly recommend that if you haven't done something like Landmark, where you get an opportunity to really, it's a weekend thing. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that you really have an opportunity to sit and be with yourself and reflect on what it is to be human, and reflect on what made you who you are now. And why does that matter? And once we distinguish that, we can really create a future free from the past, free from the constraints of who we think we are, because who gets in our way is me. I get in my own way. So I'm constantly bringing awareness to myself so I can move things out of the way, so I can keep getting to the real Z, which is nothing. I'm nothing, Harold. And if I could keep coming to I am nothing, then everything is possible in that space. One of the things I made up about myself when I was younger is that I'm shy. So I grew up actually being a very bubbly personality, but what I was pretending deep inside is I'm terrified of people. And I'm actually a very shy person. And before I did the Landmark Forum, I would always pretend like I was cool at social events, but I was socially anxious. I was terrified of people coming and talking to me and asking me things about myself. So I would just always be the one asking things, so they would not ask me things. And now that I've distinguished that and I'm aware of it, it's like it disappears. It's no longer my little secret that I'm afraid of people. It's like we all are. We all are nervous, or we're afraid of what people are going to say about us. And then when we realize that everybody's in that same space, it's the reason why we get in an elevator and people all look at the numbers. Why don't we look at each other and say hi on an elevator? It's kind of strange. So that was that weekend, and I'll tell you, I saw many miracles happen. I saw people forgive their parents from years of not talking to them. I saw relationships get people get reunited. I saw hate turn to love. I saw fear turn to acceptance and compassion. And I'm clear that it is possible for human beings to live in harmony. And when we focus on that which we want, it's what expands. You notice that, right? If you focus on what's negative, it grows. It's like it just completely just surrounds everything that you do. Whereas when we focus on what works, and this is what this show is about, like the people who are on the show today, Catherine B., she's an activist, somebody who's up to something, who's speaking truth into the masses' ears so we can have transformation on the planet, so people can wake up to what's really going on. And when we wake up to what's going on, first it's shocking. And, it's some people are in that space. They stay there for a little bit, the shock. Sometimes what follows is anger. the of wow, all this is happening, and how is this happening, and there's nothing we can do about it, and there's this hopelessness. And then after that, we can move through that to an acceptance space of okay, this is what's so. My life is the way my life is because my life is the way it is. The planet is the way the planet is right now because the planet is the way the planet is. The next question is, well, what can I do about it now? What can I do about it now? And it may be like that, what there is for you to do about it is go tell your mom that you love her. Because unless you find that peace and that love within you, it's almost hypocritical to expect the rest of the world to do that. It's like when I went to the Middle East and people were telling me, well, there's so much hate and war over there. Are you going to go over there and bring peace? I was like, well, that's pretty arrogant of me to think that when I'm not even getting along with the person I live with. I'm not even forgiving them for, I don't know, not doing something when I'm expecting that person over there to forgive another person for bombing their families. So the work starts here, and then we expand it out. So today we have Catherine B. I'm gonna read. Catherine, who's up to a lot of things, is sharing with us some important information today. So Catherine B., advocate and founder of the Gardetarians, Global Respect for Green Life movement. She's an eco-harmony teacher, wellness consultant, organic health coach, environmental and animal activist. She's the first environmental activist to become a resident teacher of a revolutionary green living course at the prestigious Standard Hotel. Oh, I'm headed there today. Oh. Uh-huh. Awesome. So welcome, Catherine.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for what you do. Evidently you are living you're living the dream, and I'll say that you're living a purposeful life. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm just trying to live by example, and it's not easy. What I love and what you said, and I just connected to so much, is that it starts with your own example. It's great to talk about change or peace or all of these wonderful things that we desire in the world, but if we are not in harmony in our own bodies and connected to the things that matter, we'll never find it. And that's why today I want to ask everyone to please come and march against Monsanto this Saturday. And the reason being is that it's a form of peaceful activism. And if I was to take the name and change it, I would say March Against Monsanto, but March for Earth. Because what's happening this weekend is a call to action. And in the courses that I teach, a lot goes into it. Landmark concepts, epigenetics, green consciousness, coming out of the chemical era. But what we all suffer from is what's called cognitive dissonance, and it's a disharmony of beliefs and information coming in. And this imbalance within us makes us want to not live by example, to not be the change, because it's too frightening, because we get overwhelmed, we find anxiety, and we feel like we can't make a difference. And when we start to think that way, we can only revert and stay where we are. The world will continue, nature will continue, but if we don't march or fight for Earth now, if we don't bring into our consciousness our harmonious way of reconnecting, we are in danger for the next generations. And without sounding like doom and gloom, this is the generation that's going to make the difference. The UN has said that we have 10 years to revert to all the things that the march represents: small farming, organic living, making sure that each time we vote, when we pick up our fork, that we're either helping or hurting the earth. Each time we spend $1, it's either to help or to commit to consumerism, which in America has become almost a religion. We consume, and we are conformed into a consumer society. So we, like you said about Landmark, and what I teach, again, is this shift in owning it. Every single time you make a move, you choose to go into the future or you stay in the chemical era that is causing so many of our issues.
Yeah. Can you go back? I'm curious about the cognitive dissonance. This is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Will you describe more what that is?
Well, when we are given, we have belief systems that we all share from how we were born in our cultures.
Yeah.
And those belief systems are instilled in us through governments, through our parents, through conditioning.
Is it things like for example, going to Disney, right? Something that's like so linked to your childhood. And in a Disney, it's like, have y'all been to Disney? It's the junk food there is incredibly nasty, and you associate that to a happy place in your childhood.
Exactly.
And then now you're like, oh wait, this doesn't work for the planet, and there's like a confusion about that.
Well, let's take, for example, eating meat. Okay.
Yes.
We have a lot of happiness around culture and tradition and Thanksgiving. So we are a belief system that this is a happy occasion. But if we were to look at it on a universal level, the act of eating meat causes so much suffering and disharmony in the world. And we can't resonate with that because in our belief system, it made us happy. And that's what our parents taught us to do. It's like, kill a chicken. It's a great thing for a family meal. But that's teaching separatism, and it's teaching ego, and it's teaching, if you really want to say, it's slavery. We think we're a society nowadays that would not have slaves, but when we enslave other beings and we don't care about how their life exists while they are being of benefit to us, we are no better than the generations before. So these belief systems go back generation and generation, and they make us ignore what we can't tell. We can't tell the future. We can't tell if climate change is going to end because we don't see it. And the belief system is not there yet.
Yeah.
So for us to practice peaceful activism and epigenetics, which is changing our consciousness and realizing that we can affect the generations to the future, and we don't see it, and we feel no urgency.
Yeah.
For example, like in the Arctic Circle, if we could see the fresh water that is flowing through the rivers underground, we would all change the harmony of getting involved.
Yeah.
If we could see what's happening to the rhizosome, into the soil, when we use these pesticides that monocrops do, we would all get involved because it would be a belief that we're helping.
Well, it's like we're blind to it, even.
Exactly.
And even, I'm looking at you and I'm inspired by your passion, right?
Thank you.
And even myself, I know a lot of things, right? And it's not necessarily putting me into action in my everyday. I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off. And sometimes it's just that what you just said is like, is it really making a difference? What can make a difference? What can make the biggest difference? So in terms of the march, what have you seen from, because this is not the first one. I know I went to one a year or 2 years ago. This is the third one? Third one.
Third
so
March.
what have you seen from the last two marches that happened that has made a difference?
Incredible hope.
Tell us, please.
Over 400 cities throughout the world are uniting, 52 countries and growing. And there's even in every town, in every small city, even the cities that don't get covered, there is awareness coming to this. And the importance of America really standing up, and especially in Miami and in the hometowns, is because if we march against consumerism and large companies controlling our food, we actually are fighting for Earth and for sustainability, for environmental consciousness, for fresh water, for all these other aspects. So the march, again, if you can come and just be part of it, and it's not just marching, there's parking, there's shade, there's yoga. Let me give you the actual details.
Wait, where can you tell us where it is?
Yes, it's at the Omni Adrian R. Center at the Metro Mover Station at 1445 Biscayne Boulevard. And you can just put in your phone's 33132 as the zip code. If you get there early, parking is wonderful.
What time is early? What time does it start?
Well, there's a yoga class. There's actually yoga to get everyone motivated and in the right consciousness, and that starts at 12:30.
Okay.
And then if you get to the march at 1:45, 2 p.m., that would be wonderful. And just be part of this and start to network and learn. And just by you showing up, maybe this year we will have some brave news reporter actually get it on the channels and get it out to the media. Because
have either of the ones from the years past made it to the to the media?
And
okay.
It's a disgrace. It's an absolute
How many people
disgrace.
showed up? 200? 2,000? 2,000 people.
Yeah.
And it was not on the media at all.
No. And in fact, they're so embedded into the media that even, this is a tangent, but real quick, Dr. Oz, who is reaching mainstream America, he has now become an advocate for GMO labeling. And what has happened is that his show is about to be canceled, and they're trying to get his medical license because the powers that be influence everyone, including the radio stations. And in Fox News in Tampa 10 years ago, the powers that be got rid of the people that actually broadcast against this company. So, again, not wanting to get political here, but there is so much denial, so much cognitive dissonance as to why this is important. Yet you can't stop the new consciousness. The new green consciousness is powerful, and we are shifting the world, and we deserve to be recognized because this is our health, it is the wellness of our children, and above all, it's saving the earth in the next 10 years. So represent, and the more people we get, the more important and the more they cannot say no to us, and we can all join forces.
This is for real. You know, I think the biggest message that I'm hearing from you, Kat, is every person matters.
Yes.
Really, it does. And we forget that, you know, like what difference will it make if I show up to the march on Saturday? Well, imagine if everybody thought that. Mm-hmm. So thank you. Wow. And so what would you say is the main intention of this march?
To show that we deserve a right to pure food, and the earth deserves a right to heal.
Yeah.
And that we are tired of being manipulated by consumerism and greed, and there's more to these companies and putting pesticides into our food than just the health issues that we're suffering. It's to do with
enough is enough.
Enough is enough, and it's really enslaving the earth along with the plants. And my movement, the Garderitarian movement, is a right to these plants to have biodiversity. And
yeah.
I guess that's the other huge thing is what we don't realize when we do these monocrops. And again, the yields are no better than small farming. In fact, small farming yields are 90% stronger. But what happens is if we get one pandemic, one complete wipeout of the seeds that they have, we could then cause economic changes and starvation in certain fields. And this is happening because the more and more pesticide you put on these plants, the more and more diseases are resisting, and it's not effective anymore. It just doesn't work. It's total Frankenstein chemical era.
Yes.
Information. I get so frustrated I can't even talk about it.
What about people who will say, like, well, what is this going to do? Like, how is this going to stop Monsanto from doing what they're doing? They're such a big organization and they're so funded. How does this make a difference for them to stop doing what they're doing?
Because when we practice what you said before, which is the butterfly effect,
yes.
and we each stop spending, or we each stop buying the foods that are contaminated, the supply is diminished. And then the demand has to be diminished. Mm-hmm. And it's just basic economics. And as a powerful country that we are and were, we can show the world. And unfortunately, what we do is influenced in other countries. So using America as an example can influence the other countries, and it's all connected.
And other countries have already done that, right? There are countries that have banned Monsanto.
Yes.
Like Bolivia.
They're smaller countries. What we're hoping for is China, because they
have a big influence.
Yes, and they're going to hopefully announce very soon that they're going to be environmentally aware. And if they shift again, this is a global movement. If they
Yes.
shift, then we can get the other large nations to shift. But what happens there happens here due to brown clouds and due to just that the earth is getting smaller. So everyone has to do their part.
Yes.
And by representing and being there, and then also celebrating, because after the march, we're going to have this wonderful party at the Social Lubricant, and to celebrate and to hear great speakers and people that are doing amazing work. Trish and Sam from Urban Paradise are going to be
what
there.
time is that at?
That is at 4 p.m.
At 4. And I highly encourage that, when we surround ourselves with people who are up to something, who are, on the path, it really encourages us, because if we stand alone, we're very alone, and it's a very scary world alone.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I'm present to is when we come together like this, our number scares the other side. It's scary. When we come together, we're strong and we're powerful. So thank you for doing this. I'm just going to ask you one more time, Catherine, to repeat the address where it's going to be tomorrow.
Okay.
And anybody who's in South Florida, this is in Miami. Please come out. Please support. This is for your children, our children, and the future of our planet that we live on.
Well said. And wear your freak flag, wear the outfits, wear the signs, bring some stuff, make some noise, and join us at the Adrian R. Center, which again is 1445 Biscayne Boulevard, 33132. And then afterwards at the Social Lubricant, which is 167 Northwest 23rd Street at 4 p.m.
Wonderful. Is there a website for this movement? Where do you go?
Yes, it's Catherine at catherineb.com and yogisgarden.org.
Okay, got it. That's your information, catherineb.com. Is that with a K?
With a C.
With a C, catherineb.com. And then information about the global March for Monsanto movement. Is there a website for that?
Yes.
March Against Monsanto Miami 2015.com.
2015. It's on Facebook or marchagainstmonsanto.com.
Okay, marchagainstmonsanto.com. And then from there, you can find out what's going on globally with this. Well, thank you so much for being here, Catherine.
Yes, wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you,
So
and thank you
inspired.
for being, for being out there and having your voice be heard.
Thank you.
All
Namaste.
right, namaste. We'll have you back. I'd love to
Okay.
hear more about what you do, so we're gonna have you come back onto the show.
Wonderful.
Namaste. Thank you. We're gonna go right into some. Today we have some live music. So our special guest Harold will be playing one of my favorite songs from his album, La Montana Nos Llama, and this song is called "Stay with Me, Close to My Heart."
Stay with me, close to my heart. Stay with me, close to my love for you. Beings of light, that's what we are. In higher vibration, waking up now. Living in peace, sharing the land. Living in joy, loving you now. Be with me, close to my heart. Be with me, close to my love for you. I'm like the eagle up high in the sky. I'm like the deer so close to your heart. I'm like a river running so wild, going to the sea, becoming one. Trust in me, trust in my heart. Trust in me, trust in my love for you. Beings of light, that's what we are. In higher vibration, waking up now. Living in peace, sharing the land. Living in joy, loving me now. Stay with me, close to my heart. Stay with me, close to my love for you.
Thank you. So sweet. I just love it. So close to my heart. Thank you, Harold. You know, I love it. This is the kind of music I'm a stand that is mainstream. That, you know, the teenagers that I work with, that's what they're singing, what they're into. Bringing the consciousness and the awareness. So I'd like to formally welcome our guest today, Harold. Harold, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I think I'm fudging it up.
Henao. You know, the H in Spanish doesn't sound, it's like silent. So it's Henao, but
Henao.
yeah, with H.
Awesome. Where is that from?
I think that last name comes from Spain. And but in Colombia it's like a pretty common name.
And you were raised in Colombia?
Yeah.
And you just came back from Colombia?
I just came back Tuesday. I was in a festival, International Medicine Music Festival.
International Medicine Music Festival in Colombia. How was that?
That was wonderful.
How many people were there about? Like thousands or hundreds?
I probably like 500 people, 600 people. And musicians, like 30 musicians. So it was pretty amazing. And, you know, the music, it's called medicine because the lyrics are towards like protection of the Pachamama, the Mother Earth. Also like the traditional indigenous knowledge comes again, and love songs, some kirtan. We had some like 3 bands that play kirtan, like Hare Krishna, the Maha Mantra.
So all the music was like healing music for the earth,
all
for
of
humanity. And you did one set?
I did like half an hour set. I played 4 of my songs.
Wonderful.
In Spanish, because you know I was in Colombia, but it was extraordinary, and it was in a like eco aldea that the Hare Krishnas they have outside Bogota, like half an hour from Bogota. So it was like in the mountains. It was really amazing.
And that's what you do. So Harold, you're a seeker, mystic musician, traveling musician, also now yoga teacher.
Yeah.
Also a music teacher. I wrote you a song.
Yeah?
I'd like to sing it for you.
Yes.
Yes. So it's a rap song.
Go for it.
All right. H to the A to the R to the O to the L to the D. Harold! Yeah. His voice nurtures your soul. His fingers love the guitar. Like his heart loves to love. Harold, he's a bright star. Yeah. Harold, he makes sweet sounds that fill my heart with love. He speaks love, he feels love, he sings love. Oh, Harold! Harold!
I love it.
You love it? I never know what's going to come out of those raps. So cool. So Harold, I'm curious to know a little bit more about you and how you got started with this music thing, because to me you are a master musician. And how long have you been doing this? And just talk to us a little bit about your past that brought you here.
You know, I formally studied music at the college level. Then I came here to the United States for a master degree in music. But, you know, it was...
Wait, when you were a child, did you play instruments?
No, I didn't.
So you didn't start young?
No, I started like when I was a teenager.
Wow.
By my by my own interest. You know, my parents, they never gave me that opportunity when I was a child.
So what was the first instrument that you played?
The guitar.
The guitar. And you taught yourself the guitar at first?
No, I had some teachers. Yeah.
Okay.
But I learned Colombian music.
And then you decided to go to college and study music.
Later, but before I had to study some chemical engineering against my will. And then I quit and I studied music.
Awesome.
And then since then I became a musician, then a teacher. Then I came here also, and now I'm a singer-songwriter.
You write beautiful music. I don't understand Spanish yet, but I listen to both your English songs And I'd love for you to share a little bit more about, well, this one, Tearing Down the Walls. I love that. Will you share more about what that song is about?
Yeah, that song came after I did like a second level of cobra breath breathing,
Cobra breath breathing.
which is like a Kriya Yoga, Tantra Kriya Yoga practice.
Uh-huh.
And my heart was really open at that time, and I was loving everyone, humanity. And the idea is just tearing down the walls, all the notions and all the programming we have in the head. She was talking about that, Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this kind of mental patterns that we have ideas on things, but sometimes they are manipulated. They are given to us so we can be slaves, basically.
Be
And
slaves.
Slaves,
Yeah.
of the system. Yeah, okay, just buy. Doesn't matter if you need it or not, or if it's good for you or not. Just buy.
Yeah.
I need the money.
Yeah.
So this is like tearing down the walls. Is like tearing down those walls that
The
separate us
stories.
from the world, from
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And it could be just like walls like people put around their hearts, to protect ourselves and that keep us separate from other human beings.
Yes, that's what the song is about. It's those walls separate us from don't allow us to feel love, basically, because we have so many walls, especially in the head.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all in our head. And then when we tear down those walls, we discover just love, just pure love for everybody. Awesome. Now, did you have a moment like where you just woke up to all of this, because your music is very conscious, and music can be unconscious and can be conscious. So, there's something about your music that's very, it's vibrant. That's why you went to the Medicine Music Festival, because you're recognized as somebody who's creating conscious music. So when was your moment where you woke up?
That came like 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Before I wrote songs, like 20 years ago, I started writing songs. But somehow I have some conflict with the commercial side of music, They think certain music is commercial and other music is not commercial. So all my songs, they say, oh, I like the song, but it's not commercial,
I mean, commercial means like that
they
popular music?
Yeah,
Like,
that they can put it on the radio and sell
Uh-huh.
millions of copies and people love it. They say, oh, I like the music, good lyrics, but I don't think it's not commercial. No, it's like, and I stopped writing music or like for so many years because I was like really like hurt by that. Say, I write music and nobody liked the music, or the producers they say, oh no. And one day I say, you know what? I'm going to keep writing music for me, because I like it, because it's good for me. And then everything changed, because I didn't care about those producers. I care about me, that I like it, that the message was helpful, conscious. And then I started writing about all these things, like protecting the earth, like empowering people. I was talking about recycling. A couple of my songs, they talk about recycling.
really? Which one?
Yeah, it's called Vamos a Reciclar, let's recycle.
Ah,
Yeah, unfortunately, it's in Spanish, but the message is really powerful, and I even have a B, like another version that is more, is really political and economical, which usually I don't perform in public. It's kind of...
There's songs that make statements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like really hard statement,
Yeah.
I don't buy your stuff anymore,
What would you tell someone? Because I would say a lot of people would have that issue, right? That want to write songs that are, I want to say maybe controversial or conscious, and may be afraid to put it out in the world right now. What would you say to them? Is it time? Is it not time?
I mean, it's like, we can say things, but now we can say now from the love perspective,
yes.
instead of the hate.
Yes.
Oh, I hate this, I am against. No, I like this, I love the earth, I love. And when you say things from that perspective, It's like,
Well, you're bringing the love vibration. It's kind of like what we were sharing before when people awaken to what's really going on the planet. First, they're shocked and then they're angry. So if you write a song from that space, from the anger, you may be talking about the same thing, but the vibration you're putting out is anger, and that doesn't solve anything. In fact, it just adds more to the problems. It adds more to the anger and the fear in the world. It really does. Whereas like you coming from love, you would be speaking about the same issue, but it's adding more love to the world than
Yes.
fear.
Yes, and one of the songs that I was like a hit during the festival was one, Hay para Todos. It's like there is so much for everyone.
Hay para todos.
Hay para todos. So I say, there's air for everyone. Yes, there is. There is water for everyone. Yes, there is sun. There is land. So people was really touched by that song, and they were like singing, and it was
They really connected with it.
abundance. Yes, there is a lot. We don't have to fight for every little thing. We can share.
Will you sing that one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. It's in Spanish, so
Go for it.
enjoy it.
Will you sing it and then translate it to me after?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hay para todos hay. Hay para todos hay. Hay que volver a comenzar como la primera vez. Hay que volver a aprender lo aprendido al revés. Hay que aprender a compartir, a cooperar, a valorar, a trabajar con los demás en una comunidad. Hay que volver a construir lo que se ha echado a perder. Hay que volver a repartir mejor el gran pastel. Hay que aprender a sentir, a imaginar, a reinventar, a construir con los demás una nueva realidad. Hay para todos, yes, para todos hay. Hay para todos, yes there is. Para todos hay que volver a empezar desde cero cada vez. Hay que volver a aprender lo aprendido al revés. Hay que aprender a ser feliz, a disfrutar, a sonreír, a descubrir lo vital, lo que significa amar. Hay para todos hay. Now sing with me. Hay para todos, yeah, para todos hay. Hay aire para todos. Now you. Para todos hay. Hay agua para todos. Water. Para todos hay. Yeah, George.
There's enough for everyone.
Hay sol para todos. For you too. Para todos hay. Hay tierra para todos. There's land. Para todos hay.
There's land for everyone.
Hay amor para todos.
Love.
Love, yeah. Para todos hay. para todos hay. Hay para todos, para todos hay. There's a lot for everyone. Let's share.
Wow, great message, Harold. I think a lot of us, that's where we come from our families. We come from scarcity and lack. Just an old program.
Yes.
And together, we're reminding each other
That's
that
what I'm talking
there's
about.
enough.
Yeah.
There's enough love.
And in this song, there is probably not a single phrase that is negative. Everything is positive. I'm not saying, let's fight this. No, there's a lot for everyone. And then when I start living that way, things appear for me, like abundance, great people around me, like you, like Moses, like all the family. I love yoga, all the wonderful people I met in Colombia. It's like extraordinary people, some American singers. It was like...
How was it for you? Do you go back to Colombia often?
I was in January, now we came May.
And where you went this time, was it close to where you grew up?
No, it's like 10 hours by bus. But
Okay.
it was just 5 days in Colombia.
What's your experience when you go back there?
You know,
Of the people, of the land, how is it like for you?
when because I was outside the city, it was really cool. But when I came into the city, it was like chaos.
Yeah, it's...
All the people on the streets, the cars, it was chaotic. And
Did you grow up there? How old were you when you came?
I was like like 28 years old, but yeah, I grew up
So
in
you
Colombia.
you lived there as an adult.
But it's kind of, I prefer the countryside now. When I
Yeah.
go to Colombia, I prefer to go to small towns.
I
to
bet
the
it's
countryside.
beautiful.
Yeah, but the cities to me, they are like tough now. I feel stressed and kind of unsafe.
All right. So what's next for you? So you have this album, and what are you doing next with the music?
I'm going to write more, keep writing, and probably make another CD. You know, I have songs for previous years that probably I'm going to release.
And you're traveling and making music. So where's your target? Where do you want to play music? Do you want to stay in the U.S.? Do you want to go global?
Yeah, I want to go to different countries and play this kind of music, like medicine music festivals. Now they are like growing.
Yeah.
In
And
more
there's-
countries, in Peru, in Mexico, in Colombia. They are like having more festivals and they are becoming international, not just national, but people from different countries traveling and sometimes paying. You know, I have to pay my own fare to go there. But it's a good cause and it's more, what I received was much more than
yes.
any money I could spend.
Yeah. And then you get, more recognition, more acknowledgement, and from playing at those festivals. Well, I really acknowledge you. I congratulate you for this album. It's an accomplishment anytime we bring something to completion.
Yes.
All of us have an album and a book in us, and only some of us complete that, like in reality. So good job doing your first one. I'd love to know more, Harold, about like how do you write the songs? What inspires you? Where did these?
There are different things. For example, in this album, the first song called Chatarra, which is junk, I inspired by somebody in Colombia, like he was
Shatara means junk.
young. Yeah.
What does volver a la durable?
It's like come back to the durable things that are durable
Yeah.
and natural. And I was there, and there was a man like in a little how you call that, like cart, driving by a horse driving, and he was buying young. Oh, I buy young, I buy everything that you don't use, blah blah blah. And I recorded that on my phone. And when I came here, I was listening and I said, oh my goodness, this is like amazing idea. And I wrote the song based on that.
Was that in Colombia or here?
Yeah, I wrote the song here, but
you saw the man over there.
Yeah, the man over there. For example, last song is about death. When you love somebody so much and that person dies.
Te volveré a encontrar.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to find you again.
Is that from an experience you had? Or?
Yeah, and a personal experience, but it was triggered by the death of a friend last year, and it was like connected both things. But I lose somebody who I love so much, and and some other songs are for immigrant song. It's like about the immigration stuff.
Oh wow, Los Ancestros Hablan.
It's like how the immigration and all the indigenous peoples, that there is a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because usually those immigrants are descendants from the original people in America, from Native American, and they want to come here to their ancestors' land, and people, they put walls.
Yes,
and
separation.
And immigration stuff, like all documentation. Sometimes they die while trying to come here.
Yes.
But those people are like Indians, basically Native American.
Yeah.
So the song
So bringing awareness to that.
is about that. And there's one called La Montaña Nos Llamas, that the mountain is calling us, nature is calling us to protect, to live together. Probably that's one of the best songs that I have.
That's how I met you, I believe. It was through permaculture. So you're also a permaculturist.
Yeah, I'm learning.
You've been studying.
Yeah, I'm learning with Angie.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Angie on the show.
Yeah, she was here. Good.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And she's taking guitar lessons. I'm
That's
teaching
right.
her.
She taught you permaculture and you're teaching her
we
guitar.
are changing our
Services.
our gifts.
You're going to teach me guitar.
I am.
I'm down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
I always think like women are so hot and sexy, and then put a guitar on them, they're even
Woo!
hotter. Right?
Yeah, it's like
That's my
irresistible.
opinion. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, you're so beautiful and you play the guitar? Oh my goodness.
Sometimes you saw me, I pick up the guitar and I just hold it.
Like, guys with motorcycle hats, they have a motorcycle, but they'll have the hat, and some girls are like, oh my god, he drives a motorcycle.
we do jams, and I pretend to play, but awesome. So you're also a music teacher.
Yes, I am.
And what do you teach?
I teach guitar and piano.
Mm-hmm.
And I have most of my students are like kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them when they learn and they start playing. To me, it's a gift, be able to be an instrument so they can learn and enjoy music.
Yeah, it is a special gift to learn music. I know for me, I didn't grow up thinking I can play musical instruments. Even though I took classes, I took piano classes. I played the trumpet for a little bit. The trumpet was tough. It was too much saliva, like going everywhere, And the piano music is interesting. It's really it challenges you to stick to something and practice. Like the guitar, my experience of it is it's like yoga for my fingers. The whole learning how to move your fingers that way, that was so new. And I guess it just comes with practice and putting it all together, because you're using two hands and you're singing and you're everything together. That to me is amazing.
And after you have like the technical part, you have to connect with your heart and sing from here, and that takes some practice. That doesn't come immediately.
That's the magnetism.
And then when you start like really giving the message and really being an artist, before you just play and you just struggling, but when you pass that point, then you connect with music in a different level. And I'm getting there. It's like I'm connected with my essence and expressing what I feel, and try to be consistent, consistent with what I think, what I do, what I say. It takes time.
It's having integrity with yourself, that whatever it is that you're putting out into the world is coming from the realest, most honest place in your heart. And that requires a lot of self-awareness, Harold. So I acknowledge you for that, because it's it shows that you value that. You value having integrity in your life and how your heart is being shared in the world. What would you say to people who are just starting out right now, who may not, like for example me, somebody who is not quite sure that they are musical people but want to make music? Like I have it, and I'm surprised with you, because you started at as a teenager.
Yeah.
So that breaks the story I have of like, you have like, you know, the people who are like 3 years old and playing the piano, you know, like they have it from the beginning. So you started later and you have what seems to me a natural knack for it. So what would you tell people who are like, don't think that they can do music?
You know, I say that it's never too late to do what you love or you want to do. Doesn't matter if you are 50 or 60. Do it. Do it before you die.
Do it before you die. Take that with you.
You know, take a risk.
Take a risk.
Yeah, you know, because we have been taught that you have to start like a child. But you know, everybody's different. Everybody has his own time. My time is now. You know, my time to write.
Your
To
time to
shine.
shine. Yeah.
To shine. It's
Is
like
now.
it's now. It wasn't 20 years ago. It's now.
Awesome.
So what? You know, it's like I have to live it, and you know, I that keeps me young. You know that?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Harold. Thank you for being an example for people to be creative in the world and to share something that's important. What you're doing is important, and often we think we have to be doing big things in the world, but sometimes all there is to do is just express our hearts, and whatever it is, whether it's through music or videos, dance. So thank you for being that, and thank you for being on the show today. So how can people find you online? Go to Facebook?
Yes, I just created like a page just devoted to my music. Harold Henao.
And Henao is spelled Henao.
Singer-songwriter. And I also have another web page for my teaching stuff. But probably
Wait, that website is?
is www.haroldhenao, haroldguitar.com.
Okay. Okay, great.
So, yeah.
And can this album be purchased online?
Yeah, I think it's available in iTunes already and on cdbaby.com.
cdbaby.com.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
it's available online, and you know, I would like to sell music, you know.
Of course.
You know, because that support me, and then probably I can travel more to other countries, you know.
I
small
highly
support.
recommend it. Purchase Harold's album. Awesome. Well, thank you, Harold.
Thank you, Zina, for
Yes.
inviting me. It's a pleasure, and it's an honor to be here at your show. Thank you, George.
Thank
for being
you.
in the technical.
Thank you for being my teacher and my friend. And for I look forward to learning guitar from you.
Yes.
So we're going to take the next 2 minutes and we're going to close the show together and take some time now to reflect, to do some metta, loving kindness, sharing our hearts with the world. So please, if you are in a place where you can sit up, sit up. And if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, close them. Let's take a breath together. Let's acknowledge this life, this prana, this life force that flows through each and every one of us, that links us all together into this web of life, this humanity, this Gaia, this earth. And like Harold reminded us, there is enough of everything for everyone. There's enough love. There's enough sunshine. There's enough land for every human being to prosper, to be happy, to have peace, to be free. Let us come together and remind each other who we are. Let us say namaste to the people we meet along our journey, reminding them that we see the light in them, reminding ourselves that we are light beings. May all beings everywhere be happy, be free. And may all my actions, my words, my thoughts contribute to that happiness and freedom for all beings. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace out. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time. Peace.
Streaming live from the beautiful city of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is SoFloRadio.com.